All right, guys, welcome back to a new edition of Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas. Big day for Las Vegas and perfect timing for us. We know it's been a while since we've been here, but you can see the rundown here. Is it to my left? To my right? That's the right direction. I always get it confused when the Supers come out. But huge day, right. We're going to start with the NFL Draft here on the show. We'll go into the knighthood. We're going to talk about, obviously, tonight's game against the Islanders. Thank you for tuning in if you're watching us while you're watching the game as well. I want to talk about Marc-Andre Fleury. The past, couple weeks, seemingly, makes his 11th consecutive start here tonight. I want to talk about William Karlsson and the potential for his contract and where that might take us. He scored his 11th goal tonight. Then the Aviators' new logo. Want to get your thoughts on that. So if you're watching, please comment. We welcome those comments, and we certainly want to hear from you guys as we go out throughout our show this evening. And then Raider Nation, of course, the lawsuit filed by the city of Oakland, and did the Raiders lose by winning the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday? NASCAR making a big announcement. And we'll also add this to the list. The Las Vegas Lights FC, a couple MLS teams are coming to Las Vegas. Boy, it's like nothing's happening here, Matt.
Never
Gutierrez,
is, man.
John Castanino here, Tony Cordasco, resting somewhere, I think. But I think he's monitoring us on Facebook and Twitter.
I know he's watching the game. He's been live tweeting the game.
So he's around. So, Tony, if you're watching, please chime in. So, 2-2 right now for the Golden Knights against the Islanders. We're going to get to them in a second. Keep tabs on the game for us. Let us know if they score. I've got it up on my screen here, but I can't do 17 things at once. So, we'll
16.
try our best.
You can do 16.
Okay. I'll try my best with that. Hey, so the NFL Draft. Voila. Snap your fingers. It's coming to Las Vegas in 2020, Matt. And if people don't think that Las Vegas is an international sports destination or one of the greatest sports cities in the world, again, the NFL sees the writing on the wall. And maybe this was a little bit of a poke at the city of Oakland, for that bitterness that they're kind of exuding. If there was any kind of thought that the Raiders would stay in Oakland or this lawsuit would result in that, the NFL is full-fledged Las Vegas by saying, hey, the draft is coming here in 2020.
Well, the funny thing is the lawsuit isn't being done to keep the Raiders in Oakland.
It's about money, right?
The franchise is leaving. It's about money. They're also trying to keep the name and the colors in the city on the off chance that they ever build a new stadium and actually get another team in Oakland. None of those things are going to happen. The team is coming. The brand is coming. Everything is coming to Las Vegas. The stadium will be done in time. It's interesting, though, that Mark Davis has said previously that if the city decides to sue the Raiders, they are not going to play in Oakland in 2019. We've been on that bandwagon since day one, that they will not play in Oakland in 2019. He walked that back a little bit now and said, well, this was actually before the lawsuit came out. I think he said it in the last couple of days, that he wants to play in Oakland. Even if they did decide to sue him, he would have a hard time saying no to the city if they did want him to play in the Coliseum because of the fans and everything that comes with that. It's going to be dicey here over the next couple of months.
Well, we'll revisit that a little bit later when we hit on Raiders, but I just want to touch on the draft right now. I think you've got plenty of time, right? You got 2+ years. I think you turn the Bellagio Lake into the set, and you build it so that it's kind of a see-through. So you got the cameras on the end towards the strip, right? And then maybe like an open air kind of set, where Goodell comes and walks out, and then every time he announces a pick, all the fountains go off.
I wrote an article for Silver and Black Today.
That could
That's
work.
good. No,
That
I
could
like
work.
that. I like that. I wrote an article for Silver and Black Today. I don't know, maybe 8 months ago. It's been a while now, about the 2020 draft, because we are on that train as well, that the draft was going to come here in 2020. We were all about that. The article I wrote highlighted a few different places, the Park, MGM being one of them, in front of Toshiba, Toshiba Plaza, in front of T-Mobile Arena. There were a couple of other areas that we highlighted. The one that I really liked that kind of stood out to me was the Link over there where the Ferris wheel is. There's a humongous parking lot on the east side of where the Ferris wheel is at. Huge parking lot there, tons of space, nothing but concrete, room for days out there. Right behind it, you have the Brooklyn Bowl and that whole area, the Link as they call it, that stretch of
The promenade.
Yeah, the promenade, restaurants and bars and bowling alley and all of that stuff. And you have the Strip as your background. The entire Las Vegas Strip is right there as your background, plus the now iconic Ferris wheel that we have on the Strip. I think that area is perfect.
Yeah,
I think that has the space that you want to accommodate that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, and just dawned on me, but the stadium will be done by then. If not completely done, it's going to be pretty close to being done.
It's supposed to be done in June.
You think that's got to be a site, right? But and here we didn't get a ton from Commissioner Goodell. I mean, I have the press release in front of me. Basically, it says that they're going to be in and around the Las Vegas Strip. So just any iconic location that you can think of, right? The Vegas sign, clearly that was tested a couple years ago for the NFL draft after the announcement was made that the Raiders were coming here. Nellis, they went to Nellis. They made draft picks at Nellis.
We were there for that,
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going to be, if you thought the draft a couple years ago was fun, clearly, I mean, we're amping it up a notch, right? There's going to be some sort of parade down there. I mean, the possibilities are endless, though.
The Vegas sign is cool, but there's no room there.
Right.
Think about Chicago. Think about Philly. Think about the outdoor space that they had and the tens of thousands of people that showed up out there. I mean, it was packed from wall to wall in the area that they provided. If you're going to put it physically on the Las Vegas Strip, they're going to have to close the street like they do for New Year's Eve, and I don't know that the NFL draft is going to warrant that kind of closure. That might not be a big enough event to close off the entire stretch of road there, but they are going to need space. One of the reasons I said Toshiba Plaza in that article might not even be big enough. I mean, it kind of bottlenecks there as you get down into the park and head towards Las Vegas Boulevard itself, but there's plenty of room in this city if you want to make room. We know that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Rich Giacovino, our producer extraordinaire. Rich, why don't you go ahead and cue up the video, the YouTube video. So the LVCVA, a big part of obviously the NFL draft coming out here, and they released this video kind of teasing what's going to happen with the draft in 2020.
We are proud to announce that the 2020 NFL Draft will be held right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world.
On behalf of Car and Cirque du Soleil, welcome to Vegas.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
Yo, I'm George Wallace. Welcome to Las Vegas.
From the cast and crew of Absinthe at Caesar's Palace, welcome to Vegas.
I'm Wayne Newton. Welcome to Las Vegas, baby.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
I'm Steven Jackson, and welcome to Vegas.
All right, so cool video there, but Magic Mike Live did not belong in that. I don't know if you saw it in its entirety. George Wallace
I don't know. I
definitely
think the women in our audience may disagree with that, but I'm just saying.
Ka was in there, represented Steven Jackson, obviously.
El Dorado boy.
High school graduate. Yeah. Don't know, though, again, Magic Mike Live. Not sure that's the way you want to kick it off. But we're going to get more information, obviously, about locations as time goes on. But the NFL made its announcement. The LVCVA made its announcement. And, again, kudos to Vegas for pulling this off and being ahead of the curve. I mean, I know you were talking about it, and it was inevitable, right? You just kind of weren't expecting it right now.
The timing is interesting, especially, like you mentioned, on the heels of the lawsuit being filed, was that yesterday? Today,
right.
Whenever it became official. And it all seems like one day most of the time now. But on the heels of that, now you're getting this breaking news. And maybe that is a way to kind of stem the tide a little bit with the Oakland thing, maybe take a little focus off of the negative and put it on the positive. Or maybe it is just a slap in the face of Oakland to go, yeah, do all you want. We're coming to Vegas, and that's all there is to it.
Interesting. All right, well, we're going to move on. We'll revisit the draft throughout the show. We've got a lot coming up here. We're going to talk about the Aviators logo, a lot of reaction. We talked with Chuck Johnson of the Aviators, get his thoughts on the reaction to the logo. Want to know what you think of the logo. We're going to get to the Golden Knights next, but first, here's a word from our sponsors. In life, just like in football, you need good hands to score. The Michael Westra Allstate Agency will carry you to success for every insurance need. Auto, business, home, life. Michael will personally see you get the best rates, and our full-service staff at 702-435-4211 will walk you through any claim, not refer you to an 800 number. For over 15 years, Michael has served charities in Las Vegas. He's ready to serve you at 702-435-4211, 702-435-4211. Drink, dine, and play at the Pint during the pro football season. Join us all day Sunday plus Monday and Thursday nights as we serve up the best specials on the west side. $2 all-beef hot dogs, $3 beers from locally made Bad Beat Brewing, $15 buckets of Bud Light, and sound for every Raider game. Our carefully crafted menu and loose slots create a locals atmosphere you'll love, plus awesome parties during every Golden Knights game. The Pint, located at 9941 West Charleston near Wallapai. The Pint, your premier neighborhood bar. All right, so let's move on to the Golden Knights. Start of the third period here.
Before we do that, let's all congratulate John. Got through his finals today.
Like anybody cares out there. I know I care.
I care because you don't understand the weight that has now come off of this man's shoulders as he gets ready to finish his master's up, what, in the next semester?
No.
2 semesters
Two
more?
semesters, but this was the hardest.
It's ridiculous the
Thanks,
way
Matt.
he's walking around. So
Appreciate
congratulations
that.
to John.
I don't think anybody cares out there.
We're happier than John is, trust me.
Graduate school, hanging out with you jamokes, plus a full-time job. It's a little bit of weight and a couple kids. I am happy to be completed with my finals. And you're right, I feel a little lighter on my feet.
You look a little lighter, John.
The Golden Knights look a little lighter on their feet. And was it... Are you saying there's something about a delay? I think it was just the start of the period. Like the lights went out?
They keep, well, there's no sound because we're here.
Right.
But they keep showing the lights up above, and it looks like some of them are out, and guys are just hanging out on the bench. This has been a pretty long intermission, so I think there's a bit of a delay going on. Okay. It looks like they're getting ready to start. Guys are on the ice.
I think our audience is mainly watching the Golden Knights game right now. So
Probably.
If you're watching the Knights, like it's like, hey, hold it in your hand. Right, the phone in your hand, and then watch the game on TV. It's double fisting, right?
Yeah, sure.
We've got that going on up here. Hey, mention our sponsors, the Pint and Michael Westra Allstate Agency, 702-435-4211. Talk with Michael today, and he said something, and it is a plug because they're one of our sponsors, but I love Michael, love working with him. He was talking to me about how Allstate basically has not raised the rates in the last year. Now, insurance laws have changed. You have to increase your coverage a little bit, so you're paying more in that sense, but as far as carriers go, Allstate actually hasn't increased its rates, and they've got accident forgiveness. Michael Westra is my Allstate broker, and he's awesome. So give him a call if you have any insurance needs, 702-435-4211. So Golden Knights, obviously we'll talk about the game tonight. Golden Knights on this kind of East Coast of swing here where they've got the Islanders, they've got the Rangers, and they've got the Devils, and then I think they go to Columbus right after that.
Staying in Manhattan for all three of the New York games, I guess you can technically call it.
Yeah, Alex Tuck was extremely looking forward to that, staying in the same hotel. So it's a good road trip for them. Gerard Gallant was saying this team has switched time zones so many times this season that just staying in one place, right, is a big deal for them. And I think 33 on the road, 21 at home so far this season. So they're lopsided, and they've got a lot of home games on the back half of the schedule. But really, Marc-Andre Fleury in net tonight. This is really where I want to focus this. 11 straight starts for the guy. Nate Schmidt called him the ageless wonder. What do you make of what he's been able to do, and where does that balance with the level of concern you have for his, energy level if he's starting so many games?
There are a lot of stats out there that will show you any goalie that has played in that 70-game range for a season has failed miserably in the playoffs. Despite how well they did during the regular season, it comes back to bite them in the playoffs. The playoffs they're a grind, especially if you advance in the playoffs. We saw that last year. We didn't see the season end until June, and you turn around and you're in camp in September. So it is a grind in the playoffs, and it's a much heavier game in the playoffs. So anybody who has played that many games has really suffered for it in the playoffs. So right now, he's fine. We're still relatively early in the season, only 30-something games into the season. He looks fresh. He has been pretty good for the most part outside of a couple bad defensive games and a couple games where Fleury just wasn't right. But he's got, 5 shutouts on the season already? Playing really well. He does need to get rest, though. That you can't sustain this. A lot of people are out there saying he's playing good. Let's just let him keep going. He's great, no problem. Yeah, that's fine right now, but sustainability is going to be the issue. If you want to see this guy play well in the playoffs, he needs to find rest every now and then during the regular season. And so far, they haven't given it to him.
Yeah, well, I think the Golden Knights are in a tough spot, Matt, right now. I mean, they're playing a lot better, and I think we all can agree on that, but they're out of a playoff spot right now. Looking at the division standings, right, they're in a tie. Well, right now, they're in 5th place, which it sounds bad, but I mean, we know that the Pacific is a mess
only 5 points
right
out
now.
of the first.
But still.
So
they're playing from a position of weakness versus last year where they were in a position of strength, and Marc-Andre never made back-to-back starts. Now you're talking about being in the thick of a playoff race. A lot of season to go left. I understand that, but I agree with Gerard Gallant saying, hey, we're not playing from ahead, we're playing from behind here. We've got to go out and win games, and Marc-Andre Fleury is clearly the guy that's going to put us in a position to be able to win those games. So at what point does the risk outweigh the reward here? And that's kind of the zone that, I think maybe not right now, as you say, but after the All-Star break, a month after the All-Star break, if Fleury's still starting everywhere, then I think the concern has to be extremely high. Subban's going to play on this road trip, right?
You would hope so.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him. He hasn't gotten enough work to this point. Let's be honest. He has not played enough hockey. Last year, he was forced to play because Fleury was injured in Game 4 of the season. He was forced to play, and then Dansk was forced to play because of the Subban injury, and then Legacy was forced to play because of the Dansk injury, so on and so forth. Even Ferguson got in there for a game. So you had 5 goalies that played in the first couple of months of the season. Not the case this year. Fleury's been healthy. He's been good. He's been in net the whole time, and you've been chasing first place. So I understand that you're not getting as much run from Subban, but at some point he's got to get in there, and he's got to get some playing time because you don't want him to be forced into that situation and be ice cold and be terrible and have them fall 5-6 games out of 7 or 8 and just be done.
So it's Islanders again, clearly tonight, third period underway here. Devils on Friday, then you've got the Rangers on Sunday, and the Blue Jackets on Monday. So Sunday, Monday. So again, this is Vegas time. So really early start. I guess that's probably the NBC game. I didn't check. You guys might know. But 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. You would think that's probably going to be the NBC game of the week. So that'll be nationally televised. So early start there. So it's another one of those scenarios. Early start Sunday, late start Monday. It could potentially be another back-to-back for Marc-Andre Fleury. But the point I want to make here is that all we really need here is to see a good game from Malcolm Subban and get a win, and all this is going to go to bed, and he's going to play more.
He's 0-4, Nosek with the goal, 3-2, about 3.5 minutes into the third, 3-2 Knights. I'm sorry, he's 0-4 now on the season, if I'm correct. 0-4 Subban is. So
and it's like an 87% save percentage, right?
Yeah,
4 goals
confidence
a game.
level isn't there. But let's be honest, the defense was horrible in front of Subban for most of those games. He let a couple bunnies in, but the defense was not good. They left them hanging out to dry quite a few times. We need to see, and the defense has been marginally better since Schmidt has come back. I don't think Subban's been in net since, because Schmidt's what?
Yeah, 11 straight.
I think this is his 10th or 11th game back.
No, it's
Schmidt.
They're on game 36, I think. So there might have been an overlap of like 5 games there.
Okay.
So maybe one start.
Maybe one start. But defense has been so much better since Schmidt has come back. The team has been so much better since Schmidt has come back. So I'd like to see him get in net and just get a chance. Get a chance to get out there and get comfortable, play with this defense in front of him, and get some confidence back.
Well, let's go to some sound, Rich, from Marc-Andre Fleury. So this backtracks a little bit. It's after his last back-to-back, lose to the Kings, and then beat the Dallas Stars back on Sunday. But asked him about that, and basically just he's in a scenario where you don't think he's going to play. Again, that Stars game on Sunday, and yet he played, and how he's battled through that. Nate called you the ageless wonder back there. Just tell us how you felt back there, and obviously, you think you may not be in a position to start tonight, but you come out there and you put the game together.
I was glad to be back, after last night, just to put it behind quickly and move on, right? And this was a good challenge for us, and I thought everybody on the team stepped up and played a good game, and it was nice for me to contribute and to my part to get a 2 points here tonight.
And then speak specifically to your defense, to where Nate said a bit of a sluggish start, but 2 and 3 they just fought back and they seemed to play really well in front.
Yeah, for sure. They, the team came out pretty hard to skating around, and they have a lot of skills in that team. So Doesn't make anything easy, but the guys battle hard. You know, the D did, the forward came back in his own, helping out, and it was a good team effort to get that win.
So that's a goalie that wants to play. I mean, clearly,
Obviously,
and you know, he's a pro's pro. I mean, I think he's worth every penny, at least right now, of that contract extension that the Golden Knights signed him to. But it's not like he's going to sit up there, and if he's not going to say I don't want to play. If he's healthy, he's going to want to be in between the pipes.
How can you tell this guy to sit down if you're going to ask him, hey, how do you feel? And he says, I'm 100%, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got a handful of Stanley Cups under his belt. He was unbelievable last season, and he's been great again this season. He's the face of the franchise. If Marc-Andre Fleury wants to play, you let him play. But at some point, you've got to be the coach and go, look, man, we need you to sit. You need to take a break here. We've got to get Malcolm in there and let him play. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable for an 82-game season.
Yeah, and I'd like to be part of those conversations between Dave Pryor and Gerard Gallant, talking about Marc-Andre Fleury. Last season, Gallant says that Pryor wouldn't let him play back-to-backs, right?
Right.
And I guess the scenario's changed, and maybe Gallant has had to convince Dave Pryor to say, nudge, nudge, we need some wins here, and we need some points, and he's going to need to play.
Well, Gallant will be the first to tell you that he doesn't talk to the
Right,
goalies.
right.
Pryor's the only one that talks to the goalies.
Right.
I have no decision-making with the
Interesting.
goalies.
Does
So
Gallant, do you think
I
he
don't
talks
know.
to anybody outside, the locker room, like pre-game or in between intermissions? Because it
If you listen
sounds
to
like
him,
that's
no.
right. It sounds like he doesn't talk to them at all, and he doesn't disclose anything.
I find that hard to believe considering he's a Jack Adams winner from last season.
Right.
So I'm willing to bet Gallant has a little more of a hand in what goes on in the day-to-day
I don't
there.
know. Let's talk William Karlsson a little bit. He scored his 11th goal of the season here tonight to tie it up at 2. But where do you think we're at with him long term? That's what I'd like to know. Hasn't set the world on fire, on pace for 25 to 30 goals. Maybe he catches fire a little bit and he's above 30. But is that a player that's going to get the kind of money that maybe he's holding out for here, where you get the 8-year, $8 million a year contract?
I don't know if he was ever going to get that much unless he put together another 40-plus goal season this year and another 40-plus goal season next year. But William Karlsson is a good hockey player. He plays 200 feet of hockey every single night. Just because he wasn't putting the goal in the back of the net early in the season doesn't mean he wasn't contributing to the team in other ways. And now that top line is starting to get going. We mentioned it the other day on our Saturday morning show on CBS Sports Radio that top line was producing. They had 6 points the other day collectively. Marchessault has a goal on the power play just 34 seconds into the game today.
Yep.
Karlsson with
Great
the
shot,
unassisted
by the
goal
way.
off the turnover
Yeah.
today. So the top line is really starting to feel it. I would love to see them lock William Karlsson up. I think he is a great hockey player. He's still young. He hasn't even hit his prime yet. And if you can lock him up for the next 7 or 8 years, why not do it?
Yeah, I jumped ahead a little bit. I screwed up, which is normal. Tony would call me out on it. He's probably sitting at home watching us
yelling
right
at
now.
the TV
I
right
want
now.
to actually go back to Marc-Andre Fleury, and I had a good conversation with Nate Schmidt after his win against the Dallas Stars. So here's Nate talking about Marc-Andre Fleury and just how awesome he's been as of late. Yeah, what do you make of the guy sitting a couple stalls down here? He's like an Iron Man out there.
Extraordinary person. Nice player, he is.
Glad to have him on your team.
You know what? He's killed a lot of my hopes and dreams years past. It's really nice to have those not on the other side of things, a bit on your side of things. But all kidding aside, he's an unbelievable teammate and a player as well. I mean, his stuff on the ice is awesome. You know, I think the way he handles himself and the way he lets us and calms us down a lot, you know, especially in the third period. We give up a goal and we're a little bit, playing a little bit tight. He's back there calming us down every time you're going by him, talking and making, it's ho-hum for him, ready to go up for the rest of the game. And never gets too excited unless he's having fun, which is what makes it so important for our group.
And it seems like, he's going out in spots where you wouldn't think that he would be going out, another back-to-back.
Yeah. I mean, he's the ageless wonder. He does a lot of great things for our team, and being able to do that as a goaltender is hats off to him.
Tell us about the flow in your eyes in this one. First period seemed a little sluggish, and then 2 and 3, you guys.
Yeah. Yes, I thought that we didn't have our greatest start to the game. I like the way we responded, though, throughout the last couple minutes of the first period, and flow, what you said, kind of continued into the second period as well. I thought we put them back on their heels. I thought we made them defend more. then I thought our D did a much better job of getting up into their space. I think that was something that the last 2 games I didn't like about my game. I don't think our D have liked about our game is having that, giving the teams too much time. And it doesn't matter who you play in this league. You got a lot of good players, and they make plays when you give them time and space. I think it's a credit to our D group. Our forwards are pushing back, and our goaltender for playing well.
All right, so that's Nate Schmidt, again, lauding Marc-Andre Fleury, as the rest of the team will do constantly.
It's hard not to love the guy, right?
Yeah, good thing he's in the pipes. And we'll just, I guess it's, let's get the wins now, we'll worry about his health down the road. But, I mean, it should be a priority. Paul Stastny, speaking of health, on the road trip, Reed Duke got his, 2-day call-up to hang out with the Golden Knights for a couple days, sent back down, seemingly to make move for the Stastny activation. We know he's close. Not in the lineup tonight, at least as far as I know. I haven't seen that.
Not in the lineup.
Somebody can call me out on that, but I haven't seen him on the ice.
No, Gallant wouldn't give an exact answer as to when he would be in the lineup, but he is on the road trip, which means he's probably going to make one of these 4 games, if not the next 3. Who knows? Where does he play? You can't. At this point, I don't think you can break up that second line. Moving Cody Eakin up to center in that second line, along with Pacioretty and Tuch, has been fantastic for that second line. Tuch and Pacioretty have been amazing since Eakin has come up. I mean, Tuch's been great all season anyways, but Eakin really makes that second line go. That's why they brought Stastny in, was to play on that second line. The third line hasn't been bad. Nosek got the goal today. You saw Carpenter and Lindberg get their first goals this week, first goals of the season. So all of a sudden the third line is starting to score. But I would imagine that third line is where he's going to slot in. Maybe you scratch Lindberg and throw him in there at the center position, along with Nosek and Carpenter. But man, it's a good problem to have at this point, and we've been talking about it for a while. Once this team gets healthy, it would have been really interesting to see what would have happened had Howla still been out there. But obviously he's done for a while, if not the entire season.
Yeah. Maybe playoffs. I don't know. Well, they have to make
Possibly,
the playoffs first.
Exactly.
So I agree with you. I think the third line is where Stastny should go, but the question isn't for us, right? It's for Gerard Gallant and where he's going to slide him in. And I don't know enough about Gallant dealing with past injuries, and I can't recall what happened last season. When somebody's hurt, they're basically inserted back where they came from, right? I don't know if current play was really a factor with him. I mean, because the team played consistently all year long, and it was excellent all year. So maybe that was a factor in just slotting them back in whenever there was an injury, whether it was to James Neal, who else? Perron was out for a little bit as well, and they slotted them right back in. I think you do have to weigh clearly the play of the second line here and make a good decision based on what's best for the team on the ice, not necessarily what might hurt a player's ego.
Well, I think Lindberg is the odd man out no matter what. I think he's the guy that gets a scratch. He was scratched for a large part of the season. Maybe a week and a half in. He sat for quite a few games. So whether it's Eakin going back down to the center spot on that third line or Stastny taking over for Lindberg on the third line, I think that that Lindberg is that scratch.
All right, we've got fans from North Carolina watching us.
Buddy Ted Law, another L-Dog graduate there.
Hey, Ted. Thanks for tuning in. Anything else about the Knights? We talked about Carlson. I think it's, maybe he made a mistake by taking this one-year deal now, if, in fact, it was his side that kind of turned down the extension. Everybody got an extension except for him. Well, you'd have to think that he was given some sort of offer in the offseason.
It depends on what that offer was, though. If he felt the offer was a lowball offer, then, turn it down and try to get something.
He's going to be a millionaire.
You're right, exactly. He's going to be making plenty of money. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if in this offseason we see McPhee do what he's done, which is throw out a 5-year offer in that, I'm going to say, $5.5 to $6.5 million range for Carlson, and we'll see if he wants to stay in Vegas or if he wants to go out there and test the market. One thing I did want to talk about, the energy that this team has at home. They need to find a way to bottle that up on the road because they have been very flat on the road. They are winning right now against the Islanders. Islanders not a great team. Very defensive team now with Barry Trotz being the new head coach. We're all familiar with what he did with the Capitals last season. But you saw what happened against the Kings. They scored right away, and they were just flat. They were never in that game. They looked
flat
slow.
First period against Dallas, too.
They looked disinterested. But that's at home, and they're able to find a way. The second period of this game was awful, and the second period has been really rough for them all season long. They got the good turnover late in the period, and Carlson got the goal. But they just haven't been able to find that spark on the road, and their record reflects that. Last year they played really well on the road. So we'll see if they can find it as the season progresses and take that insane energy that they have at T-Mobile and bring that with them on the road.
All right, let's put the Golden Knights to bed now. At least we'll come back here. Hopefully
8 minutes
they hold
to go.
on. Yeah, 3-2. Rich, throw it up for us if you have it. Las Vegas Aviators.
Oh, here we go.
So it was a great event. About 2,000 people showed up at downtown Summerlin, and there it is.
What the hell is that?
I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I applaud. I like the name Aviators, right? We've known that name was going to be the name
Right.
for a very long time. It was released publicly a while back. I love the colors, right? And in fact, it's the background on our set here. We've got the
Not
sunset
sure how
colors.
you did that. Rich threw that background
Yeah.
up about 6 months ago
Yeah.
on the Sports Adrenaline logo behind us, and somehow the Aviators copied our background. Clearly,
yeah.
they've been watching the
Same-
show.
oh, clearly,
and
clearly.
copied the background. I can do without the navy blue. I've been on this train for how long?
But
How
I don't
the
think that's
hell
the issue.
Does every new team decide navy blue is the answer?
I don't think
What
Navy
is
Blue's
that?
the issue, though, Matt.
It's my issue.
I don't-
On top of the bug-eyed pilot guy.
So my wife, I think, had the most salient observation out of anybody that I've heard. It looks like the old 51's alien head. They just put a helmet on it.
It does have that look, man. It does have that look. I've seen
And
the Patriots logo being compared to that.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you turn the Patriots logo to face you
Yeah.
and throw an ugly helmet, I don't understand how they were able to miss so badly on the logo. And look, I tweeted it out right away when this thing came out. It's AAA baseball. The logos are largely ridiculous throughout the entire league. They're just.
I love the s'mores
they're
logo. Did you see
campy.
the s'mores one?
I didn't see the s'mores
Oh,
one.
it's awesome.
But they're campy. They're
Yeah.
fun. We had an alien with baseball stitches through his
Yeah,
head.
which I
They're
didn't like.
supposed to be fun. Fine,
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm just surprised that they missed so badly on this logo. It could have been any number of really fun jet, airplane, whatever kind of graphics. Even a better looking pilot. Something. I don't get the V straps over the goggles that go right through his vision. That doesn't make any sense. I get they're trying to maybe model it after the VGK logo there with the V in the helmet, but it's messy. It's a messy logo. It's not tight enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, hard to disagree with you. I feel like if Tony were here, he'd just be yelling at us and disagreeing with us all show. But, I mean, the backlash is there, and there were other renderings out there that, the throwback aviator guy. There was the jet engine that had wings on it that was cool. I think they tried too hard. I think they tried too hard, and now it joins the UNLV logo, which apparently is now being phased out.
That's the rumor.
Yeah, rumor, whatever. I mean, we knew it was going to be phased out as soon as they released it.
What's worse?
Right, which is worse. And here was a golden opportunity for the 51s the Aviators to get
That's gonna
something
take a
right,
while.
right, and to really look good and be like, hey, at least there's a team in town that knows how to make a good logo.
Yeah.
But no, instead they said, hold my beer. They said, hold my beer. And they put that thing forward, which is too bad.
It's funny that people were griping about the Golden Knights logo when it came
Right.
out. When you look
Right.
at what UNLV did in that disaster, and then you look at what the Aviators did, and I don't think the Aviators logo is anywhere near as bad as the UNLV logo. That to me is the UNLV logo right there. That's the one that it should
Yeah.
be. But the new one is just a disaster. This one is just, like I said, it's messy. The mountains in the goggles are, I don't know.
I think they just tried too hard,
They
right?
did.
Like the UNLV logo.
The straps in the face,
Yeah.
the mountains in the goggles. The goggles sit a little too high on his head. It just doesn't make sense to where his eyes would be. It's a messy logo. I think they could have made it cleaner. I like Aviators though. We've been happy with that for a while. I'm good with that.
We'll continue the talk on the logo. We'll touch on the winter meetings, right? Oh,
Real quick.
yeah.
Did you see the gray hats? The
Yeah, the
gray
gray with
hats
the
with the
LV.
LV.
I love that.
I mean, he
Spot
stole
on.
our stuff. I'm telling you. They were watching the show. They stole that. It's exactly what the hats look like.
Well, maybe,
I like the hats, by
maybe
the way.
Rich
The hats are
Giacovino knew the logo and the name, and he's like, "Oh, I should
That's
model
what
our
it is.
colors
Rich is
after
in the
that."
know.
It could be that. I don't know. Winter meetings here in Vegas. Made it down there. It's just cool. It's cool to be around there, and you just see major leaguers everywhere. The MLB set, MLB Network set, is over by House of Blues. They've got one outside by the pool. ESPN is there. My boy Tim Kurkjian, who I think I'm the only person taller than him, or he's the only one shorter than me. Excuse me, that should be the correct way to phrase it.
I know what you meant. I know what
yeah,
you meant.
he's there. All the managers are in town. The executives are in town. We don't know what Bryce Harper's going to do, but it's just a kind of a cool thing for Vegas. It happened here 10 years ago, revisited now, and Mandalay Bay, the perfect host for it, and there's fans everywhere for it. But
it is amazing what this city has become on the pro sports level. NBA Summer League. You've got the winter meetings here for baseball. We have the NHL here. The NBA is on its way. Might be the Phoenix Suns if you listen to the rumors out there. I mean, just one thing after another. The NFL's coming. It is incredible how we went from this just taboo market that couldn't be touched, just too hot to touch, stay away from Vegas, to now what, the pro sports mecca of the country? I mean, it's insane how big it's become now, and the winter meetings speak to that. Future home, or the current home of future Dodger, Bryce Harper, right?
we don't know where he's going yet.
It's not going to Chicago.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Cubs don't need him. They don't need him. So let's go to Chuck Johnson. He's the GM, and he's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for the Aviators. Probably had a pretty big hand in this. So I saw him at the winter meetings. I said, hey, let's talk. Got a little awkward, and I basically said everything except, are you going to change the logo? But we had to talk about the winter meetings first. So here's Chuck Johnson with the Aviators. All right, here with Chuck Johnson now of the Las Vegas Aviators. Chuck, just talk about the event. I know, hugely attended. All right, we'll get into the name or the logo in a little bit, but I know it was a great event, and you guys got to show off the new logo and show off the stadium.
Yeah, we had a really great time. The Howard Hughes Corporation did a wonderful job putting this brand launch together. Something that was the production with it, probably something we never would have done before, but with the backing of our ownership group, it was great to have the video boards out there, have 1,000, 2,000 people out there to enjoy it, some of the local dignitaries and baseball people, and to get that excitement about our new name, the Aviators.
How stressful is this process? I mean, not only do you have a new name, you have a new ballpark. I'm sure there's a lot of stress, for lack of a better way to put it, right?
We've talked about it, and the name and logo, the rebrand, checked off a pretty big box. So now we're moving on towards April 9th opening day, and all the things that will happen in between that. The first time we turn the scoreboard on, the first time the seats go in. Looking forward to getting the grass up from Scottsdale, and we'll plant that in probably mid to late February. So all these little things that will start to happen, and we're getting excited about it.
All right, so let's talk about the logo. I love the colors, Chuck. A lot of people love the colors too. It's just that Aviator logo, at least on social media, I get people, that they blast everything on social media. But I know you were really close to the process, so it's kind of hard to separate yourself from it. But what do you like about that?
I really like the clean look. I mean, the Aviator certainly has a tie to Howard Hughes and the history that he has in his career in the community as well as his business. So that was very important for the corporation to expand upon that Howard Hughes tie. We look at the tie also being with Nellis Air Force Base and the aviation industry in this city. So we do think that it's not gambling related, but it certainly has ties to the history of Howard Hughes in Las Vegas. The color scheme is different, gradient colors, but we're also taking the fact that we're up in the Red Rock, Summerlin area, the sunsets, the mountains, everything that takes in the colors. I think that people will start to grow used to it. It's a big change from what we had in just the blue and gray. And I think that once you get looking at it and you get used to it, I wore my hat this morning. We did a little 5K charity run, and took some pictures, and I had a good time. I like the logo, and I think it's going to be fun to see it at the ballpark here.
It seems the 51's logo, or excuse me, the Golden Knights logo, people didn't love when it first came out. Now it doesn't matter; people love it. I think it's going to kind of be the same way here with the Aviators. But I want to touch on the ballpark. Going to complete on time, correct?
Yes. Yep. We're on time. Opening day, April 9th, 2019.
Great, Chuck. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate it. So, Chuck.
Clearly, Chuck and I disagree on what clean and messy is. He thinks it's a clean logo. I'm
But
on the other side of the
I think
fence
he's
there.
right. I think it's not. So it's not UNLV level. I think it's going because it's minor league baseball.
Not
as you
only
said.
that, the difference is UNLV had an established look, an established logo, recognized
Right.
throughout the nation. This is a complete rebranding. So, again, like you said, AAA baseball, you can afford to mess up the logo and whatever else, as long as as long as you have fun with it, and
But
I
don't
think the
it's
colors
going
are
away.
good.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I think that helmet guy, I don't know. Just don't know.
Should we call him the helmet guy?
The helmet guy,
What are they going
sure.
to do with Cosmo? Can they just slap the helmet on Cosmo?
If you
The
are
eyes don't match up anyways.
if you are concerned about Cosmo, he was at the unveiling. So it seems like
passing the
you think
torch.
if they were going to get rid of him, that he wouldn't have been there.
No, he was
and then you would
passing
have had
the torch.
a new mascot.
It was ceremonious.
Right, and
He was handing over the
maybe
bat.
they're going to have an aviator with a helmet, and he's going to have the big things.
I think they just slap a helmet on Cosmo and a bomber jacket.
Yeah, it looks like
and
that's
he'll be good to go.
We just saved one job here in Las Vegas. Let's move on to the Raiders. They beat the Steelers on Sunday.
What a fun game, man! I had fun watching that game. And that I
that's the
haven't
first
been
time
able
in
to
a while
say
you've
that
had-
a lot.
right.
I had fun watching the Kansas City game, to be honest with you, the week before, and I thought this game would be extremely similar to that, in that it would be kind of a shootout. Raiders had come out on the losing end. I didn't think they had enough to stay with them. And had Roethlisberger stayed in the game the entire time, they probably wouldn't have had enough. But he didn't. He was out. He came back and made the big fourth quarter comeback. But two amazing fourth quarter drives by Derek Carr, length of the field, touchdown drives on both of them. A couple fourth down conversions, including the game-winning touchdown. Just, I mean, a lot of fun. That game was back and forth. It was a lot of fun. Classic Raiders and Steelers. Phil Villapiano was there with Franco Harris of the Immaculate Reception fame. Took him down to the Black Hole, showed him a good time in Oakland all weekend. Just a super cool atmosphere, and it's fun to see the Raiders win, even though it doesn't happen very often this season. It's good to see them playing well.
You're right, and a part of me wants to say, well, why don't they just do the full-on tank job and let's call it a day and get the number one pick, right? But we're probably in agreement. Tony wouldn't be in agreement, but win the games if you're out there. Rile up the fan base a little bit. I mean, there was a bunch of Steelers fans at the Coliseum, though, right?
Yeah, there was. The entire visiting sideline was terrible towels, and it's sad to see. And I've been catching a lot of heat on Twitter for the last couple of days because I tweeted that out the other day that Bay Area fans have been chirping at Vegas since the day this move was announced about how we wouldn't be able to support the team here. It's going to be all visiting fans. And then you look at the Coliseum last week against Kansas City, and there was red everywhere. And then you look at it this week, and there was yellow everywhere. So clearly it's not a case of the Bay Area is 1,000% supportive and Vegas isn't going to hold a candle to that. It's the team's not playing well and fans are going to stay away. If the team's playing well, fans are going to show up. I think that's true of anywhere. We've talked about it with the Golden Knights. Talk about it with every team out there. If you're winning, fans show up. If you're not, they stay away. Raiders aren't winning. Fans aren't going to show up, especially when they're leaving in a year, maybe in a couple of weeks.
And the fact is the Raiders own the draft anyway. Is it how many picks in
They
the first
have
round?
3 in the first round
Yeah.
this year, 2 in the first round next year, pending who knows what other transactions are coming
Right.
up. The interesting thing, you talk about tanking. You have all 3 of the bottom teams, the top 3 picks, which would be Arizona, San Francisco, and Oakland, all won in the last 2 weeks. So, you can talk about tanking. Nobody's tanking. These guys are out here. They're fighting for jobs.
Say, hey, they have just as good of a chance of getting the number one pick as they did before the week started.
Not only that, the last time they had the number 1 overall pick, they took Jamarcus Russell.
Right.
What good does that pick do you if you miss? They took Khalil Mack at number 4, and he is the best defensive player, if not top 2 or 3 in the NFL. So you have to get the right guy. No matter where you draft, you have to get the right guy.
Reggie McKenzie, we saw this coming, writing on the wall, right? I mean, no surprise here. The timing, though, I think is strange.
I think the timing is actually really good. I was a little surprised when I first heard it, but then when you think about it, they've got to get ready for a draft. They've got to get ready for Senior Bowls. They've got to get ready for all the college football season. There is a lot of evaluation to be done in the next few months heading into the NFL draft next year. And if Reggie McKenzie isn't going to be your guy, why would you have him in that room with you going through everything, this entire process that you have to go through before that draft comes? They need to get a guy in here immediately who's going to be long-term with them so that they can evaluate together and get ready for the upcoming draft, especially with, again, 5 picks in the next 2 years in the first round.
Bungles on Sunday. Are they going to win that game? I mean, they're on a bit of I guess, as good of a roll as a 3-10 team can be on.
No Andy Dalton. Passing game a little shaky. Joe Mixon has been fantastic at running back all season. The Raiders don't stop the run very well. They did well against the Steelers, but the Steelers don't run the ball at all, especially with Connor and Bell not playing now. But they're going to have to really load up against the run and shut Mixon down. If not, they're going to be in trouble because the Bengals still play really good defense. They were close to beating the Chargers last week, and I think the Chargers are a top 5 team in the NFL. So it's not a gimme game at all. It's going to be an early start. It's going to be cold at Cincinnati in December. But the Raiders' offense is clicking right now. Defense is playing a little better. It's hard to play worse than what they were playing earlier in the season, but they are playing better at this point. So I think the Raiders are a live dog. I don't know what the line is in this game, but I expect the Raiders to come out and play well. And Derek Carr, he's got it figured out. He hasn't thrown an interception in, I think, 265 straight passes now.
Which is hard to believe because I thought he was throwing picks all over the place earlier in the season.
He was early in the
right.
season until that San Diego game, the one that I was at. San Diego, damn it. That's $1 in the jar, man.
Yeah.
L.A. Chargers in Carson, California. He threw that pick on the goal line, if you remember. First and goal, he throws the horrible interception, and I think that's the last interception he threw. That was 8 games ago.
Yeah, I guess maybe he learned a lesson from there. Hold on, I'm pulling up the odds. And the Golden Knights here in the waning seconds.
He's figuring out that offense now.
15 seconds or so away from a victory there. Why can't I find the line? Okay.
I got you right here.
Yeah, thanks for
and
nothing.
That's a wrap. 3-2. Knights win it. It's a good way to start the road trip.
So I believe they're back in the playoffs, at least as of right now, with the victory. They'd be in a tie for second. Right.
Again,
but
5 points from
as
first
of this
to fifth
moment,
place. It's very fluid.
As of this moment, they are back in the postseason. Let's move on and talk about a couple more things here before we wrap it up this week. NASCAR and the Las Vegas Lights. But NASCAR, big news for them, and I guess we don't have to
Speaking of lights,
too much time on this, but we knew it was coming, and I think the Speedway, there was some scheduling conflicts, but this playoff race, 4:15 it's going to be moved to start time, so maybe not necessarily under the lights. The lights will probably be on when it starts. Daylight saving time is...
That doesn't happen until
November. So it's still probably going to be mostly daytime, but then it could end at nighttime. But it's going to be cooler out there.
That time of year, the sun goes down, around probably 6:30,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. So you will get some nighttime driving out there. That has to be the move. I mean, it has to be. That Speedway has lights. They run truck races out there at night. You can see the strip. If you're in turn 4, if you're in that corner, the Richard Petty Terrace or even the Dale Earnhardt Terrace, because you can see over everything, you can see the entire Las Vegas Strip out there. It's a no-brainer to put it out there at night. I think it's going to be awesome. Visually, it's going to be great. I think that really elevates this race as far as viewership goes. People are going to want to tune in to see the Vegas track at night. And then if you're out here, you're going to want to go to that race when it's a little bit cooler out. As the sun starts to set, you don't have to worry about that midday heat in September. You were out there this
That was brutal.
September. I mean, it was
brutal.
way worse than the March race. And the March race can be
my
hot.
shoes are like melting out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
It's nasty.
They can't do it. And I think, I think the Speedway kind of knew this was coming. They probably didn't like the start time to start it, but, what are we to complain when it's the first time we got
just trying to
two
get the race
races in a
in,
year,
right?
So
the thing that could be interesting, you know how quickly it cools down out here at night. I mean, even in September, it's not cool at night, but it's 20 degrees cooler than when the sun's beating down on you. That track changes a lot. The temperature on the track is going to change a lot from start to finish. You could have some interesting finishes in this race. A lot of times you see guys that are half a lap ahead. Things could really start to bottle up.
Well, you look at that race this year, and how many caution flags did they have at the end of it? I think it was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And it was, who took the win? Why can't I remember? Great job, John.
Keselowski?
No, was it Brad?
I forget. Or did he? I think he won the March race, maybe.
Right, he
I
won the
don't
March
know.
race. I know, and it's
I
just
forget.
brain fart. All right, grad school. Okay, it's
Where
on
are
the brain.
NASCAR
Yeah,
fans
somebody
out
will call
there?
us
Hook us
out
up.
in 2 seconds. But we've got Sunday, September 15th. That's going to be the date for the second race, and then March 3rd. That's a 12:30, traditional 12:30 start for the spring race here in Las Vegas. Las Vegas Lights FC. They announced their spring training schedule and their spring exhibition schedule, and they've got Toronto FC and Colorado Rapids, just another ho-hum preseason in Las Vegas. But a couple games here where the date's at: Toronto FC February 2nd, and then Colorado Rapids February 16th. So it's like, hey, soccer's already here.
It's going to be cold. That's a cold time in Vegas.
Yeah,
Even in Vegas, it's cold.
It sure is.
That's going to be chilly. It's funny. I remember the beginning of the first season going out there with the heavy winter coat on. There were a few of those windy nights where it was very chilly out there, and then you get into the summer and it's 1,000 degrees. So
it was
it's a
Brad
long soccer
Keselowski.
season.
It was Brad.
Was it?
Brad won it because I won a bet.
See?
I took Brad. Brad always wins in Vegas. Now I have to
He does
double
run
check
pretty
it.
well here.
Las Vegas. This is primetime TV here.
Back to the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
3-2 win. They've got, New Jersey next and then the Rangers? Is that correct?
That's correct. So New Jersey Friday,
not
Rangers
a good team.
Sunday,
Rangers
and
not a
then
good team.
Blue Jackets
Monday. Very good team.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they can pull off these next 2 games. It'd be nice to go into Columbus on a 4-game winning streak. Obviously, that would vault them right back into the thick of the playoff race. So good start for them on this road
Anything
trip.
coming up on Silver and Black today? Our cohorts on the weekends on CBS Sports Radio, 11:40 a.m. On Sundays, 8 to 10.
We are doing a podcast in about an hour
Oh,
or
you're
so.
doing it after. I thought you did it before.
We were going to do it before, and, people have jobs and get stuck at offices and things like that. So we'll be doing our Silver and Black Today podcast live at 8 o'clock on Spreaker. You can tune in there. You can find it, and we will post that after the fact. Obviously, very heavy on the Reggie McKenzie thing. NFL draft coming to Las Vegas. Raiders' big win over the Steelers. Again, it's such a great rivalry for 2 teams that are not in the same division. That rivalry goes back decades now. So we'll have a lot to talk about.
The lawsuit as well. A lot of snark coming from the Bay Area. I mean, just snarkiness, saltiness.
Yeah. It's been that way for 2
The
years.
mayor's been like, and
Did you see her little tweet she threw out there?
I
The
did.
Billionaire Boys Club.
Well, and that's what it is. It is there. Well, I mean,
still.
she's condescending, but yet that's what it is.
Yeah.
Matt, to bring it full circle here, we talked about graduate school for me. I actually studied stadium relocation in my graduate school class of law and public policy, and this move.
Give us your expertise, John.
This move, and you should know this because you're a Dodger fan. This move is strikingly similar to when the Brooklyn Dodgers left Brooklyn and came to the West Coast, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
All Walter O'Malley wanted was a piece of land. He was going to pay for that stadium all by himself. But New York City at the time, they didn't see the need to have basically public land used for a private entity, right?
They didn't want to put it in Brooklyn. They wanted it in
Queens. Yeah, which
they
you're
ended
not
up
going to
getting
do.
their way.
Yeah, right.
But it was after the Dodgers left and took
It's
the
too late.
Giants with them.
So they screwed up. That's what Oakland did. Oakland screwed up this deal, right? And
Careful, Oakland. You're going to end up with the Mets or
Well,
the equivalent of.
they've got this Oakland A's stadium that it's small,
I don't think that
35,000.
I don't think that happens.
It's interesting. All right, we're going to sign off here. Thanks to our sponsors, The Pint and the Michael Wester Allstate Agency at 702-435-4211. And The Pint, if you wear an ugly Christmas sweater when you go to The Pint on West Charleston near Wallapai, you get in an entry or a raffle for 2 Golden Knights tickets. So make sure you go down there. Make sure you mention us, Sports
Going to
Adrenaline,
The Pint.
Las Vegas. Yeah, and they serve Bad Beat Brewing.
This one's empty, John.
Yeah. Oh, well, you can have this one.
All right,
Hef's
cool.
great. Yeah, Hef's really good. All right, signing off. We'll be back here, I believe, next week. You're going to find out if we're back here next week.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday
8
morning
o'clock,
8 to 10.
CBS Sports Radio, 11:40 a.m. We'll be there as well. Maybe we'll bring Tony along with us.
Maybe.
Think?
For Tony, who's off. For Rich Giacovino, our producer extraordinaire in the booth. For Matt, I'm John. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Saturday morning, too, as well on CBS Sports Radio. In life, just like in football, you need good hands to score. The Michael Westra Allstate Agency will carry you to success for every insurance need. Auto, business, home, life. Michael will personally see you get the best rates, and our full-service staff at 702-435-4211 will walk you through any claim, not refer you to an 800 number. For over 15 years, Michael has served charities in Las Vegas. He's ready to serve you at 702-435-4211, 702-435-4211. Drink, dine, and play at the Pint during the pro football season. Join us all day Sunday plus Monday and Thursday nights as we serve up the best specials on the West Side. $2 all-beef hot dogs, $3 beers from locally made Bad Beat Brewing, $15 buckets of Bud Light, and sound for every Raider game. Our carefully crafted menu and loose slots create a locals atmosphere you'll love, plus awesome parties during every Golden Knights game. The Pint, located at 9941 West Charleston near Wallapai. The Pint, your premier neighborhood bar.